He could use some help from some of his other teammates there, and one in particular, J.R. Smith, who has been a non-factor. Well, maybe he's actually been a negative factor in the first two games. We've seen what Iman Shumpert has provided coming off the bench, and yet Ty Lue says he's going to stick with Smith in the starting lineup and have Shump come off the bench. What's your reaction to that?
I think they're trying to keep things similar, and they don't want to just react to react. And I think because that almost looks like, we're panicking if we make that move. I wouldn't be surprised if JR comes off, after the first time out, if he's not producing. They wanted him to shoot more in game two, and he did shoot more, but he didn't score. And so for some reason, he's not able to find his rhythm. And again, we go back to last year, just for the context. Last year, he struggled in the first two games. And then the games 3 through 7, he was averaging, he was in double figures. And so when guys come home, I'm not sure how many times you've heard this or people have said this before, but when role players come back home, they play better. And the way I look at J.R. Smith, he's a role player. He's a starter. He's not a bench player, but he's a role player. So when he comes back home to Cleveland, he plays better. So I'd expect him to have at least 10 points, 4 assists tonight, at least have some sort of way to chip in and make some big threes because he's able to do that. I just think he's been hassled on the defensive end and maybe just kind of worn out trying to, stop Klay Thompson because he's been on him. He's switched to Steph Curry. And like I said, Steph Curry he's cooking right now. When Steph Curry's on, he's tough to defend. I think a lot of the energy has been used up on that. And I think J.R. Smith at some point was on the offensive end, not getting great looks either. There was a lot of times where he would shoot the ball and be, in the corner at, a terrible, tough angle to make a bucket.
Ty Lue also said that we're going to see a little bit less Tristan Thompson and more Channing Frye. Yay, because he's been so good. What do you think about this move?
That right there is a move that is going to. We'll see if it can spark him. I still think Tristan will bounce back because he bounced back last year, but I think right now they're doing a good job of keeping Tristan Thompson off the glass. And what Channing Frye gives you is to give you some perimeter presence so he can hit a three, whereas Tristan Thompson doesn't do that. So Channing Frye is a good mix-up. And he started a lot of games in the regular season, and I think it can be a spark, especially because Channing Frye is pretty loose and he never takes anything too seriously. And I think he'll crack a funny joke, in the middle of the game and try to get guys loose. And I think he's a guy that will certainly bring a spark tonight in a must-win situation.